Hello everybody and welcome back for some weekly VR news. As always, I'm Mateo with Room11 and this is your channel for everything VR related. Now today we have some really exciting news because we're already getting a glimpse into 2026 and it looks like VR gaming is about to peak. We already have announcements for some really exciting games on the way, including things like VR's answer to Helldivers, Meta finally pulling back from Horizon Worlds, the Half-Life 3 rumors are really heating up, and finally the steamframe is preparing a killer feature that will be an absolute game changer. Now there are of course links and timestamps down in the description if you want to skip ahead, but before we jump in, today's video is brought to you by VR Optician. Now there's absolutely nothing worse than your VR experience being ruined by a blurry screen. And unfortunately, sometimes the root cause is just your eyesight. Now as someone who has 20/20 vision, I can't really share the pain with my near and far-sighted brethren. However, I have seen many VR experiences ruined by a pair of glasses that just won't fit in the headset. I personally love giving people their first ever VR experience, but I've had numerous cases where seemingly average size glasses just do not fit in the headset, even with the added spacers. So while I personally only use my lenses as either blue light filters or protection for when I'm traveling, everybody else has the option of getting their prescription put right on these lenses. They snap right into the headset, and I've heard from people they make a massive difference. But like I said, 20/20 vision, I can't really tell. So if your favorite pair of glasses just won't fit in your headset, or you're just looking for extra convenience, blue light filters, or some added protection, I highly recommend you go check out VR Optician. As always, there's a link down in the description. Okay, so for those who don't know, the check-in is where I explain what I've been up to in the VR world, but we're going to be super brief today because there's a lot to go over in this video. I just want to mention that, yes, I'm playing everything. Yes, I love the feedback from you guys. So anything you want to see covered, hardware or software related, let me know down in the comments and I will prioritize whatever you guys request. Now, on top of that, I forgot to run a giveaway during last week's stream. So I'm going to put some keys for how to God up. It's basically black and white in VR. It's a God sim. I actually did a full video on this game. It looks kidsy, looks cartoonish, but honestly, the mechanics are there. It's a very solid, very deep game. Highly recommend it. Those keys are on screen. Please only take a key if you really want to play this game. And if you did take a key or a key's not working, please say which one it is down in the comments so we don't waste anybody's time. Now from here, just some last quick reminders. We have VR game night every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys jump in. I usually have extra keys for you guys for co-op games. We've been playing Battlemark lately, but there's multiple games going on. It should be a fun time. On top of that, I'm extremely close to 100k subs. So if you're not subbed, please subscribe. I'm throwing a massive giveaway. When we hit 100k, we'll live stream, and I have like 100 keys to give out from all of my favorite games from this year. And then we'll go over, start reviewing games like we normally do on the live stream. So that's the last reminder. The live streams are Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But let's get into this week's new releases. Now, first up, VR's #1 spelunking title finally making its way onto Steam VR, featuring a full story mode where you retrace the footsteps of your famous spelunking father, diving deep into the abyss of these unknown caverns and uncovering some dark family secrets. Now, climbing deeper and deeper into caves with 100% reliance on your gear for survival wasn't already scary enough. Well, then I'm glad to say this game also has a horror mode that's not filled with cheap jump scares, but just rather an extremely tense atmosphere with some unknown threats. Now, next up, we have a title for the mixed reality fans out there, and this one is called Healer. Healer takes you through a series of mini games and randomized environments. Rifts into new worlds will constantly open up, which will not only change your environment, but also the challenge you're currently facing. Now, this could be anything from fighting off a series of little aliens, to solving some puzzles, or even just popping some bubbles. It's designed to be a completely unique experience every single time you play, creating an always changing, fun little world that you could jump into whenever you want. But if that sounds a little bit too easy or chill for you, why not try upping the challenge with the survival title Neolithic Dawn? This one-of-a-kind title is currently available in early access, but later this month, it's getting its full release. It features a full campaign that's playable in both single and multiplayer modes, and it's packed with a series of unique VR mechanics that really understand how to up the immersion of a survival game. Now, we rarely see a survival title that has excellent physics-based mechanics, a full single-player campaign, and also offers up multiplayer, but not only does Neolithic Dawn deliver that, but it also puts us in a setting that we've never been to before. So if you're looking for a new survival game, you might want to check out Neolithic Dawn. But if that title sounds a bit too complex for you, we have yet another Mario Kart clone on the way with Boom Karts. Now, obviously, this is not the first time that someone tried to replicate this game in VR, so that makes it very hard for me to get excited. These racing games are rarely noob-friendly, don't have enough players to keep lobbies open, and generally they're too simplistic for long-term appeal. So obviously I'm skeptical, but I do wish them luck because Mario Kart done well in VR would be absolutely amazing. But now let's move into those bigger stories, starting with why I think we're going to see some peak VR gaming in 2026. We've already seen some amazing titles announced, including VR's answer to Helldivers, Guardian's Planetfall. Now, the same studio previously gave us the absolutely underrated Guardian Frontlines, which was already like a mix of Starship Troopers and Halo, with a large array of different gameplay mechanics. Well, now it looks like they're leaning more into Helldivers style of combat with their own unique twist and even some space battles. And just to briefly mention some other games I'm really excited for, we of course have the 4-person co-op Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Empire City coming. Now, I've only tried some limited demos of this game right now, but they've definitely left me more excited for the game's release. Now, G-Rebels is another title I'm extremely excited for, as it looks like a combination of VTOL, Aircar, and even Star Wars Squadrons. Now, overall, I don't know too much about that game just yet, but it does look right up my alley. And on that note, we also just got 2 major announcements on one of my all-time favorite VR games. The 4-player co-op RPG, Legendary Tales, has not only announced a massive new DLC, but the game is also finally coming to the Meta Quest. So if you're currently on the Meta Quest and you're a fan of something like Dungeons of Eternity, I think you'll absolutely love Legendary Tales. At the same time, if you were one of the players who wasn't completely thrilled with the game's changes from early access to full release, well then I'm also happy to state that the new DLC is bringing this title back more towards its Abbey-style roots. And this right here is just a glimpse of some of the already announced 2026 games that I'm really excited for. But the title that would obviously be an absolute game changer is Half-Life 3. Now, the rumors are once again heating up for this game, but this definitely isn't the first time that's happened over the past 20 years. I will say though, on the heels of the steamframe and Steam Machine announcements, plus many of the well-known leakers with excellent track records are also saying this is finally the real deal. Additionally, in the rumor sphere, there's some supposed major updates to the Source 2 engine that will allow for some game-changing features and mechanics that we've never seen before. And right before we continue that topic with an absolute game changer that steamframe is planning, I just want to mention some additional good news for the VR industry, and that's the fact that Meta is finally pulling back from Horizon Worlds with a 30% reduction in spending. Okay, a little slow clap for that one. I don't want to waste too much time on this topic, but we've seen Meta aggressively shift the landscape of VR games over the last few years, and I think Horizon was probably the final straw and the worst thing they were doing. Everything was shifting to young, kidsy, free-to-play, and for many people ruining the overall VR experience, cutting into what developers could afford to actually produce, and even changing the expectations of the gamers. Like when they saw a $30 game, when they've been picking up everything free to play, they're like, wow, 30, that's insane, never. And the whole market is kids, so that's not good. Now, obviously, there's exaggerations there, and I'm going on longer than I wanted to, but cool. Good on Meta, pull back from Horizon, and did you see their stock price shot up? So I'm not the only one who agrees on this. And now let's get into that literal game-changing feature coming from the steamframe. Previously, I spoke about how the compatibility layers Proton and Vex are such a huge deal to the overall industry, and that these features were not getting the attention they deserve. Now, to briefly go over those 2 compatibility layers, Proton allows traditional Windows x86 architecture games to run on Linux, which is pretty crazy when you think about it, and performance is there. It is awesome. Like my Steam Deck is fantastic. I love it. Vex is doing the same for Steam VR. So Steam VR games will be able to natively run on ARM hardware, which is again, absolutely crazy. Now, the mobile hardware on the steamframe isn't insane, but it will be a nice step up from the Quest 3. So I'm excited there. But the feature that they said is in their roadmap that they're working on, the literal game changer, because it literally changes games, is they want stereoscopic 3D to be an option for all flat games. And I think we'll be surprised what ends up running well on that headset. But putting that aside, anything that you can run on the headset that's a flat screen game, you can flip a switch and it will now be full 3D. This is basically what vorpx has been trying to do for years and what the flat to VR mods have been doing. Yes, we're not getting all the physical interactions. That would still be up to the developers to add if they really wanted to. But guys, your entire library that you can suddenly play in 3D is insane. Some games like Cyberpunk, I'm not expecting that to run mobile, maybe, who knows, but some games, when you experience them in 3D, is insane. And the industry tried to do this years ago, like all the way back in 2010 with NVIDIA 3D Vision. But between the fact that there were so many different hardware compliances and different options out there and added costs, it was not feasible. 3D never really worked out. But the fact that Valve has control of the OS, the hardware, the back-end software that all of the games are running off of, and this compatibility layer, they're going to pull it off and it's going to be insane. So that's why I'm absolutely pumped for gaming in 2026. I think this is going to be an insane year. I haven't been this excited in a while. And guys, just one more reminder before we sign off. I'm like 200 subs away from 100K. So we'll probably run the giveaway next week or the following week. I got tons of keys for you guys. So if you're new here, please subscribe. And as always, drop a thumbs up on the video. It really helps with the algorithm, and so do your comments. Thank you guys. I'll see you on next time.